guys, as you can see by this delightful graphic at the bottom of the screen, this week absolutely kicked everybody's ass. So that's fun. For context, obviously lots of concerns this week about inflation, about supply chain shortages, about increases in prices for fuel and other commodities. So lots of volatility. Elon Musk needs to be locked out of his Twitter because that's certainly not helping anybody at this point. So yeah, lots to go through. Starting with new transactions. I know that both of you had some activity this week, so walk me through what you bought and why, and on the off chance that it was a good move this week in particular, how well is it doing? Yeah, it's about the reaction I was expecting.
Yeah, so like all of my stuff this week did not do well. So it didn't matter if it was old or new.
Well, so what did you buy? Let's start there.
So I got some Neo, and that has cratered.
Okay.
That is not that well at all. Let's. I definitely regret buying that this week. In other news, Litecoin, which was at a double-digit gain for me last week, is now at a 20% loss.
Oh no.
Boeing has actually rebounded a little bit. It's close to zero.
Okay.
Okay. Shopify has rebounded a little bit, and that is no longer double digits. So I think that one technically went up this week.
Okay.
Even though it's in the red.
Nice.
TSMC is not that bad. It was worse at one point. It was much worse at one point this week.
Yep.
Tesla's pretty bad, dude. Tesla is pretty bad.
It is.
It's down 16% this month, and it's down like 30% since we bought it. Tesla is pretty bad.
Yeah, I don't... Because I know you and I bought it at slightly different times, so all time I'm down 27%.
Yeah.
So about as bad.
Tesla's pretty bad. Yeah, I'm at all time. I'm down 30.2% on Tesla, so that's pretty heavy.
Aches.
That is by far my worst. Outside of GameStop, that is by far my worst trade. So, but I guess like theoretically, it could. I don't know if it's ever gonna moon, but like I could see it maybe recapping some of its value, but I don't know. It definitely hurts to look at right now. Ripple for me is close to zero, but it's on the positive end. So
Okay.
that definitely went down for me this month, but because I bought it at a relatively quote unquote low point.
Baby steps. Baby steps.
Yeah, as long as it keeps going back up to that like 150-ish point, I can still.
Okay.
I'm thinking maybe I should just say it doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't look like it's gonna break through that area anytime soon because we keep doing the cycle. And then Microsoft is rebounding a little bit at the end of this week to no longer be as awful. But it's also a loss for me this week. So yeah, nothing good. I gotta say nothing good.
Oh. All right, Kyle, I know you had some transactions this week, too. We talked a little bit about what you might do last week. What did you end up deciding to do?
Yeah, so I got rid of Starbucks.
Okay.
That freed up some capital for me to get to venture into crypto, and that.
Oh, welcome to the club.
Boy, was that a poor decision.
Yeah, I think you wanted to buy crypto maybe now.
Bought the dip a little early, yeah.
Yeah, so I kept Starbucks in my watch list, and I checked it occasionally, and I was like, wow.
Oh, no.
But, yeah, so I got into Litecoin and Ethereum. Ethereum...
That's a good call. That's weathered it better than most, I think.
Yeah, because I don't know, I can't say for sure, but I think it's like maybe the second most transacted.
Correct.
So I guess the reason why I went with Ethereum was just more. So I started looking into cryptos, right? And you guys might have heard of the Shiba.
Yep.
Or whatever, right?
Yep.
So it's apparently Ethereum based, and you have to trade through Ethereum.
Yeah.
So I was like, it seems like maybe a good time. Like the Shiba coin had like tons of hype. So
It's like the second cousin of the Doge.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then I guess a few things happened, like the guy who made like Ethereum VB, I think. Yeah, he donated like $1 billion to India, and that
Yep.
I guess made people panic, and so that's kind of killing that. But I don't know. The Litecoin I don't know that much about either. That was kind of just like I don't know. Well, I guess it's supposed to be a very like lightweight or like a I don't know. It's lighter to mine, something like that. I don't know. Honestly I don't know. But that was a terrible decision because it's now in live, but like as we're speaking, it's down to -27%. That's pretty bad. It's pretty gross. Ethereum's down 18%. Everything else is not quite as bad as it was last time.
Okay.
Like Pinterest is only -12. Etsy is only -18. So I mean, for the most part, it's like okay. Everything in the portfolio has been slightly getting better, except for the two cryptos, which absolutely like straight murdered me.
Yep.
But, yeah.
Has not been a good week. I'm just assessing my own damage here. So this month alone, my Bitcoin has dropped 23.5%.
Oh yeah, it's down super low right
Yeah.
Well, so that was Bitcoin was up to like 59,000 at one point in the middle of the week.
Yeah.
So like it almost reached its like all-time high.
It almost came back, and I should have gotten rid of it. Is what I should have done.
And then it cratered down to like below 45,000.
Yeah, it's at 44.2 right now.
Yeah. So it's like, so that's the thing. Like like I'm looking at this 20% loss in Litecoin and the 16% loss in Tesla. I'm not gonna lie, the 16% loss in Tesla was a lot worse than the 20% loss in Litecoin right now.
Well, that's because there's so much volatility with coins that there's a better chance of something irrational happening and all of those losses completely evaporating.
Yeah.
Tesla's not going to make that up at the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
It's really making me believe maybe once I see double-digit gains on a coin, should I just sell like right away? Like and just maybe eat the fact that I might lose out on like a 100% gain if I just sell at 20 something because like
No.
the odds of it cratering back down seem to be pretty high. I mean like Litecoin, like all of us this week or all of us have pretty much lost value on the coin at some point, right?
Yep.
The double digits.
Well, yeah. So like
After gaining the double digits, so.
the only thing that's doing okay for me is Ethereum. So this month it's up 20 and a half. All time it's up 50%. Mm-hmm. But even that, looking at how it's doing today it's dropped practically 13%. So
Today was a heavy day for
yeah.
a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, all time my DraftKings is now negative 17.8. So I went from up 12 to down 17. Tesla's in the negative 27. My 5G bet with Ericsson is hanging on by a thread at plus 2.7. Canadian Solar is looking like a 5-year investment that I bought 5 years too soon. That is down 35%, so that's really awful. The other two are doing okay. Apple and Microsoft, not horrible, not great. So yeah, not been a good week, like we've talked about. In the grand scheme of the year-long race, though, this is leveling the playing field quite a bit, I think. So that's going to be interesting. At this point in time, right? That's the caveat.
Unfortunately for me, my losses in crypto this last week have pretty much eliminated. Well, actually, not just crypto. My losses everywhere this week have pretty much eliminated any of the gain that I had started in pulling myself out of that GameStop hole. I'm back down.
Yeah. I went from up 18. I'm only plus 8 at this point. So.
Well, there was a point where I was getting close to only being -5 all time. I was almost back to even.
Ooh, look at you go.
Like, it was getting close-ish, and now I'm back to -15, and I'm just like.
Okay, well, I don't feel too bad about buying it all the time.
Yeah. If
No.
you're positive, dude, like,
I mean, I have a lot of positions I would love to trade with you straight up for that. I mean, yikes.
I still got a few companies in. I have at least 2 companies in the double digit, like net in all time.
Okay.
Yeah, Delta and Honeywell is doing really well actually. I don't know why.
I haven't followed it. I would be curious.
Yeah, I honestly I don't know enough about Honeywell and what.
Let's see what we can find here.
Other
Do you have
than the
any
fact.
news or whatever in their feed?
Survey says.
They had a virtual shareholder meeting on the 21st. Oh, they're having one on the 21st.
Honeywell develops cleaner petrol configuration. Ooh.
Nice.
They reported that a co-led team won a contract from the Department of Defense.
They're getting more work.
Got some DARPA money coming in.
Government money.
They're creating a portable drinking device that extracts water from the air.
They launched a new satellite-based asset tracking system.
Yeah, so they've got a lot of interesting things going on, which
Wait, what is their industry? They do so much stuff.
Dude, honestly, Honeywell does so much stuff. I literally,
Yeah.
if you go back a few episodes towards the beginning, and actually probably even towards the start, I'm like, I got into Honeywell because they make turbochargers.
yeah, one of the 25 things that they do now.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Well, hey, sometimes it is better to be lucky than good.
True.
I would take luck if I was investing in crypto.
Mm-hmm.
I would take luck over knowledge every time.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest. I think no matter how much skill you think that you have, there is still so much uncontrolled volatility that you could try to make the argument that there's a lot of skill involved. I just wouldn't believe you. Like there's always going to be some skill involved. Absolutely. More skill than luck in crypto at this point, I don't buy it. Sorry, I just don't.
Oh, okay. So speaking of like, unexpected volatility or whatever. So, did you guys see how like or I don't know if it was Tesla or if it was specific Elon, but he said they're no longer accepting Bitcoin.
So
Is that like was that good for Tesla stock or was that bad?
it was bad for pretty much everything, and this whole sequence of events to me is confusing. So they announced that they're going to start accepting Bitcoin to purchase Tesla. You would think that before you do something like that, you would be cognizant of and comfortable with the amount of energy that goes into mining Bitcoin. The public statement that was given around the time that they decided to not accept it anymore was that they were concerned with its carbon footprint, which tells me a couple of things. A, you don't understand how fossil fuels work because those are still far worse. But B, that you didn't do any homework and you didn't think about it ahead of time. Or C, you tried to do it for all the wrong reasons, it wasn't working for you, and you needed to make an excuse to get out. So that whole thing to me is just, I mean, it's dumb. I don't know why you started it. I don't know why you stopped it. Like, commit to something. I mean, come on.
Well, it's like, is he gonna just switch over to another cryptocurrency? Like,
Yeah.
Well, he loves Dogecoin now, right? Like, is Tesla gonna announce we are going to start?
I actually think they already announced something with that with SpaceX. I believe they are working on a trip to outer space where you can purchase your seat in Doge.
Yes, I believe that was a thing. Yeah. So it's like, I mean, okay, I think that I've been keeping up, like, so crypto, after I did a little bit of research, that has started to get me interested in it.
I'm seriously tempted to buy the dip with real money. I'm not gonna lie.
So is he just like blatantly like manipulating the price then by saying like, hey, my company is selling its holdings.
Dude,
Watch
honestly,
the price drop 8%, and then he goes like, I'll buy it, and then it goes back up. He sells it again. I mean,
dude, honestly, yeah, like kind of, because I've been tracking it every now and then. Like he announced that they're no longer accepting Bitcoin for Tesla, and that tanked Bitcoin, which
well,
tanked
yeah.
literally every other crypto.
Yeah, because like
Yeah.
Bitcoin was shot up to 60,000 originally because he said that Tesla was gonna hold it. That was how it broke through that 50,000 barrier or 40,
Yeah.
whatever it was that sitting at last before. That Jordan was like, yeah, it's just sitting here. Needs some sort of catalyst to get past
It hovered in the mid-50s for quite a while.
Yeah, Tesla saying, yeah, we'll hold it was the thing that it needed. It blew past it, and then all of a sudden now he's like, yeah, I'm done.
Well, and so you raised an interesting point because I saw some tweets about this week, and I do think we have to start thinking about this as a conversation. At what point do you have to think of him as a currency manipulator? Because you're seeing the effect of it, whether it's intended or not. My favorite one, and I don't remember who ended up putting it together, but they were essentially making the argument that he waves a magic wand and certain tokens go up and certain tokens go down, and it's just ridiculous. But I don't know. When something like this isn't federally regulated, I suppose there's not really much you can do, even if you wanted to.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
So interesting all around because the feds don't want to do anything with it yet, and the general market seems to be unsure at this point. I honestly thought in the face of some of the comments about inflation and some of the other things that came out this week that people would flock to that as an alternative. And so I'm honestly a little surprised it fared as poorly as it did. But I suppose when everything is bad, sometimes everything is bad and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
So not a good week for sure. And the worst part about it is that none of us have residual capital to buy the dip with. Like, we're stuck. Everything else is cratered this week, and so
Well, the things I could do would be I would just eat the losses in stocks.
Yeah.
Sell them and hope that crypto rebounds fast enough to just make back. Where it doesn't matter that I logged in at this point, like I said, a 30% loss in Tesla or or
That's-
10% loss in TSMC or something. Like I could just lock something in, at a loss and then quote unquote free of capital.
you could. That's a risky move, though. I mean, that's
Well, sitting at minus 15% all time.
true.
Risky
True.
moves might be called for, to be honest.
Yeah.
Might be your only option. Oh boy.
Yeah, so, yes. Well, I might be doing good for the month. The all-time performance is definitely
All-time performance, not great. Okay. I did want to get your guys' take on the other big news of the week because you both work in tech. What do we make of this whole ransomware attack on the East Coast gas pipeline?
Oh, causing the gas shortage? Well, okay. You're talking from like a security standpoint, like not surprised that it could happen. Especially now that we find out that we think it was Russian people who did it.
Well, so I guess my first question would be, generally with the expertise and experiences that you have, as comprehensive or as limited as they may be, in regard to cybersecurity, if you had to guess, are companies, like what percentage of companies have appropriately invested in cybersecurity protections?
Honestly, I don't think that many.
Fairly low, probably.
So you're thinking like 10% or less, 20% or less?
I mean, it depends on the field. As you get to more like, but like, okay, the problem with it too, though, is like as much as you spend, let's say you do spend all this money on testing and hiring blue hat hackers to test your system and find all the exploits they can and like, whatever.
Yeah.
Ultimately, the most vulnerable part of any system is the humans that operate it. That's how hacking works.
Yep.
But usually, you get the user to
Yeah.
fail in some way. Like they give you the information you need to log in, or they leave something unprotected. It's not the
Yeah.
the system can't account for every bad input from the user. So, like, I don't think that a lot of companies do put in the proper. I mean, we saw it with remember one of those different credit companies.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, so someone breached our database and looked at all your guys' social security info and credit scores and all that, but no big deal. We'll give you free credit tracking for a year to put a lock on that or whatever the hell the solution was.
I was looking into that because they sent me an email that's, your data may have been compromised, right? And I was looking into it. They were speculating that if the class action lawsuit actually goes through and the settlements go out, the checks are going to be like $20 a person or something stupid.
It's like, okay,
Why bother?
I guess you need to give them some sort of slap on the wrist, but they're still in business, so whatever. But I mean, like, okay, the guy who was like the CTO, or what? Not the CTO, but the person who was in charge of cybersecurity for that company. He was like he had like his list of credentials as like the number of companies where he had worked as a cybersecurity expert or like their lead person at major like Fortune 50 companies or government entities was fairly lengthy. And
Sorry, are we talking about the fuel pipeline or the
no,
Equifax thing?
The Equifax.
Okay.
Thing. Like he was like a well-known, respected dude, and like I said, at a certain point, he's just a suit, right? Like he's a suit who's in that position because he's good at managing people. He knows nothing about security. Or like it was like when that one government official from I think it was Japan or something like that. Like he's in charge of electronic security and he doesn't. Like he admitted that he doesn't use a computer. Like, like it was like something wild. Like I'm just like I honestly don't think that like the amount of testing probably not high enough. I mean maybe with those events were in the last couple years probably been an increased awareness where maybe the increased awareness is that. Not necessarily as much we should protect more that if we get caught we look bad if we haven't done something, but like
I gotcha.
maybe some more stuff has occurred, but it's probably not as protected as it should be, but ultimately even if it is, it's probably easy to get someone in the system to mess up.
Congratulations, you've won $50 in iTunes gift cards. Click this link.
Yeah. We're just like you send them an email like, hey, we need to reset your password. Like, we're updating the system. Reset your password by clicking on this link.
Yep.
Someone will click on it. So
Blows my mind that it's that easy, but I suppose you can't control for everything.
Yeah. Did they say like what the breach was? Like, I mean, they're probably not going to say what the source of the breach was.
I don't know. I haven't looked into it. We could do some googling. I guess.
Like, could be any of those suspicious emails.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how they got in. I was only following it from the perspective of the memes that I kept seeing of people like filling their plastic laundry baskets and 5-gallon garbage bags with gasoline.
It's so bad. Yeah, the gas hoarding is wild. Are you guys buying gas in any way, or
No. Well, and so this is the thing.
No, I meant in the context of our cap.
No.
I guess not. Are you personally hoarding gas? Because I don't think. I mean, gas prices.
They've already stabilized. Like, they're going to climb over the summer because there's going to be some type of supply chain crunch from COVID, probably. But outside of that, the pipeline is already back on. The pipeline was back on like 3 days after it shut down. So.
Well, it's also not the only pipeline.
No, it's one of many.
I understand that like states like I think like Virginia, like some of the Virginia.
It was like Georgia to Virginia. There was some states along that route that had a problem or something.
Because the pipeline is like normally their main or sole supplier.
Yeah.
I feel like probably we were like totally unaffected.
We were. I mean, that's an accurate assessment.
Yeah, like I didn't notice a large. I mean, I did.
No.
Maybe gas around me went up by a couple cents. Yeah, like Jordan said, summer's nuts.
Yeah.
So,
It always goes up the closer you get to Memorial Day. That's just what happens. But it always cracks me up because so often when you think about like concepts of there being a shortage, and like we saw this at the beginning of COVID with toilet paper and paper towels and 1,000,001 other things, right? It's not that there is a physical shortage of the product if everybody buys a reasonable amount. There's a shortage of the product because people lose their minds and buy like 10 times too much.
Yeah. You mean it's not okay for me to literally have like plastic gallon bags or plastic garbage bags of gas?
I was actually legitimately stunned that somebody could be that stupid, but I fact-checked the picture and it was true.
That is terrifying to me. Maybe they double bagged it, for extra security.
I don't care if you double bag it. That's a terrible idea. Well, then there was the guy who was hoarding gasoline in his Hummer, and then something went wrong with the engine, and it caught fire and almost blew up. Like, I don't mean to make light of a bad situation for that specific guy, but I mean,
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that like I guess the attendants are probably like I don't get paid enough to try to stop this from people. 'Cause, like,
no. I mean, if I were a fuel attendant, do your thing. I'm gonna sit there and laugh my ass off.
if you're like spilling fuel like all over the ground, though, isn't that like a hazard? Because like those people were clearly not like elegant about the solution. Like I
No.
don't really want you to be spilling like fuel on the ground. Like I mean, I understand like some things happen, but like if everyone is trying to fill up their bags or their bags are tipping over or like, trying to double knot it, they're picking it up and it sloshes over the side or some shit. Like I would actually be like, it's kind of dangerous for me to be here. Like, if you guys want to blow up the gas station, fine, but I don't want to be in the little box next to the gas station.
Yep.
Dude, honestly, I don't know. It seems like a lot of the attendants don't care at all.
Well, that's
Like,
what I mean.
No, I mean, I wouldn't care. You don't pay me enough.
I'm just gonna dip out. Like,
Yeah.
Like, and I'm getting tied to a different shift right now. Like, this is not okay.
because I mean, it's like it's different, but like, so I was filling up the Outback one day, and then I think I had an issue with my fill tube, but so or it was the pump itself, but like the handle got stuck, and so my tank like overflowed, and so it's like spilling out of my fuel thing, and then I pulled the thing out and I try to click the handle, and it's still the handle's like closed, like so it's not being pulled, but it's still flowing like tons of gas out, and I'm like, hey dude, like I need help like this. This is at
Turn this off.
Emergency shut off. Yeah.
this is at Costco, and so like sometimes in the door when you put the thing in, there like if you punch that, then it closes too.
Yeah.
But it wasn't working, so I was just like, hey dude, like this is pouring like gallon. I'm also paying out the ass for this too.
Oh no.
So I'm like, yo dude, I'm losing like 12 gallons a minute right now. And he's like, oh, it's fine. I was like, so you're not gonna spray this little hazard, like gasoline leak hazard kit over, right? And he's like, nah, it'll dry up in a bit. I was like, okay,
I mean, I guess yeah, it evaporates.
yes, but no.
Oh no.
I guess I just don't care. I mean, maybe I'm just the worst, but I would be like, yeah, I don't really want that much fire fuel. Like,
Well, no. Like, to the point we were talking about last week or the week before, right? If you're paying somebody minimum wage, you have a business model problem. If I'm making minimum wage and staying at my job results in the possibility of me getting absolutely blown to smithereens, I'm not staying there. Are you crazy?
yes.
Like, no.
Collect my COVID unemployment.
Yeah, collect your COVID unemployment, go back to school, go do something that puts you less at risk of other people's stupidity.
Honestly, you would have to me a lot to go approach those people too, just by myself. Because I mean, like, the type of people who are hoarding gas in plastic bags, like, you know, they're the type to scream at you.
Oh, they'll scream at you. I saw some pictures. People were filling up in convoys with like weapons at the hip.
I don't know. I'm just
Like, it was out of control.
I would be, oh my god, I'd be like, yo, I'm done. Excuse me, am I being held up here for gas? What is this?
I mean, they weren't holding anybody up. I think their thought was,
I know. Like,
if anybody
like,
tries to steal our gas, we will cap them.
that's some fucking Mad Max level shit, bro. Like, what are you doing?
I foresee some Zoolander type explosion happening.
Honestly, like, it's.
Accidental weapon discharge. Oh, I dropped my knife and it sparked.
Right? With everyone spilling their gas all over. That's what I'm saying. As the attendant,
Yeah.
I'd be like, I'm bouncing.
Yep.
Bro. You guys
I'm
got
out.
Weapons, unsafety weapons. Y'all are stamping around. Your steel toe boots and crap. No.
Yeah, maybe that's entertainment. You know, like, okay, like, you know, if you ever go outside and you people watch, I honestly, that I would.
It's true. It's reality TV. But,
Yeah.
It's like people of Walmart
reality
at the gas
TV.
station.
Dude, like, when I used to work at Sears, not rest in peace, that company. I hate it. But, oh, man, the types of customers that would come in there, like, I mean, okay, yes, granted, there are people who need to shop there because it's cheap, right? But some of just, like, the really, like, idiotic customers, I'm like, dude, what are you doing? And so I just stand there behind the cash register and be like, okay, let's see how destroyed my floor gets before I have to go clean up. Like, deal
Yeah.
with stuff.
Fun fact, one of my favorite work-from-home hoodies is from Sears. I bought it in high school, and it magically still fits.
Nice, dude.
Like 12 years later.
shape hasn't changed a lot from high school, so I wouldn't have said that. Wouldn't have said that you, like, haven't been putting on the pounds or anything in COVID, it seems like.
I mean, no, there's some COVID weight happening here. There's a reason the camera cuts off where it does.
The COVID-19.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have not weighed myself for that reason, but yeah, dude, the irrationality of people is fascinating to me. I mean, it's part of the reason why I work in marketing, right? I'm so fascinated by the dumb things we convince ourselves are a good idea.
Yeah.
Like even looking at the context of this competition, I thought, oh, Biden's in the White House, solar energy, great call. How many years too early am I at this point? I don't know. But I convinced myself that was a good idea, and I'm 35% in the hole for it. So, like, it can happen to anybody anywhere. But it's just so interesting to me how we justify some of those things. Yeah, not rest in peace to Sears, but they did make a couple nice hoodies. I'll give them that. But so we've had a wild week of crypto. We've had a bunch of irrational gas hoarding. In the face of all of this inflation and fun and games, we're going to wrap up tonight. Call your shot. This time next week, how many of the four of us... Well, no, that's actually too easy of a question. I was going to ask how many of the four of us are still in the red. But the answer most likely will be most of us. Up or down from where you are right now? We'll leave it at that. What do we think?
God, it's got to be up, right?
I mean, fingers crossed.
Staying out a lot of big losses. So I want to say we all move up this week. We got to start dead cap bouncing a little bit.
Okay.
Man.
I mean, at the end of the week, stocks were starting to move, like, traditional stock investments were starting to move a little bit better. The beginning of the week and last week were really bad.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
They were starting to rebound a little bit, so that might offset any weirdness that happens with crypto. And I gotta assume at least one of the coins starts regaining its value. Everyone is invested in more than one in our group, so I assume all of us will.
You would think one of them bounces. The question is which one.
Yeah.
Kyle, what do you think? Up or down?
Man. It's really hard to say, honestly. I feel like I'm just gonna stay exactly where I am. Like by this time next week.
Or you feel like it'll just be like, it doesn't matter what happens, we'll just even out.
Locking it in at -7%, huh?
Unfortunately, probably. I mean, yeah. Like,
Oh no.
obviously, the hope is that everything recovers. But I think it might take. I want to say it'll probably take a little bit longer for. Maybe. I'm saying maybe it'll go. I'll go up maybe like 1.5%. But also the crypto is just. I think the crypto is what's killing me personally. So like maybe traditional stocks might try to help recover, but I think my hole is maybe a little too big right now. So I'd probably say I'm in the same like 1 plus or minus 1% range. But I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be staying in the same area.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if I end next week at -4, I would be delighted.
Yes.
Which sounds so bad.
Yeah.
But it's where we are.
I'm sad of seeing these big red numbers.
Yeah. It wasn't always like that either. I feel like for the most part, we had made some really good calls. Like, even all time, half of my stuff is still fairly significantly green. It's just the ones that are not are either really bad or you flip it over to the monthly view and it changes dramatically.
Yep.
Oh yeah, the monthly view is bad, but it makes you feel better knowing that everyone's having a bad month.
Yep.
None of us are really having that bad.
Yeah.
No, you're not alone. Everybody's given something back. The question is how much. Well, I do mean this with all sincerity. Good luck out there this week. It's going to be a wild one. But, all right. Everybody has called their shot. We think this week will be better. Fingers crossed, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. For sure.
Alrighty, guys. Good luck, and I guess we'll see what happens.